on, all the upcoming videos of this series will be available early for the members of the channel. That means that if you have the membership, you will get access to the videos before they will be released to the public. It's a great way to stay ahead and support the channel and dive into the content as soon as it's ready. Thank you so much for all the support, and as always, happy coding. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is going to be the next part of our multi-platform series. And in this video, we'll cover conditional operators. Like other programming languages, Kotlin also have conditionals, and in this video, we'll cover that. So what exactly conditionals are? So what conditional are is basically there are scenarios where you want to run some specific code, or let's say you want to print something based on the value that's been received. I'll give you an example of, let's say you want to write a program that basically decide if a person has passed or failed, and basically the decision for that should be made based on the marks that has been obtained by the user. So you need to have some sort of condition is for that. For example, if the person has obtained marks more than 50%, it means it's pass, else he's fail. So basically, conditional are basically used for different kind of condition. The first condition is, let's say for example, we have a variable and that is called obtained marks, and let's say for now let's call it them, let's set that 60. Okay, now what you need to do is that you need to print based on that. So we'll say if obtained marks are greater, so the sign is for greater than 50, this means the person has passed. So for that we'll be saying println, and that will be as passed. And in the other part we'll say else. So if the condition is not satisfied, it will run the else part, and for that it will be failed. So something like this. Okay, now let's just run this code, see if it works. Now you can see it says pass because the marks are 60. Now let's say I make it 40, and let's just try run this again. Now when I run it, you will see that it says fail, which means that the condition is basically verified, and this is how basically the conditions work. Now this is just one thing. Let's say you have a case where you have multiple conditions. So for example, you have different kind of grading that you want to add for. Let's say if the condition is something is that if the marks are greater than 90, this means the user has obtained A plus grades, right? Now in other, like if you use it this way, in the rest of the case you can just add one more condition. Let's say you want F for that, if that's the case. But there are like other conditions. For example, on 80 plus you have a different grade, on 70 it's different, and so on. So for that you can just do else if, and then add one more condition into that, like this. This way you can say obtained marks are greater than 80. So in case of greater than 80, or you can say greater than equals to 80, and for this you can also say greater than equals to 90. Now in that case, if it's greater than 80, let's say you want to print for that as A, right? And now we want to have a similar case for other condition as well. So let's say for this it will be B if the marks are 70, and then in case of 60 you will say, for that you can say it's C, and if it's just above 50, which means now this is D, and the rest you will say that it's fail. So let's say we have something like this. Now when I run this, you will see that the 40 marks is considered as F, so you see fail. And let me just add now an 89 for this. So let's say I add 89 and run this. Now it should be saying that you've got an A, right? So based on this condition. So that is something basically how you can do, or like how you can get these kind of conditions. Now this is slightly confusing. Let's say you have like if and else if and else if and else if and all that. So there is one more thing that you can do, and that is basically when. Now the when, what it does is that you can say if obtained marks are greater than equals to 90, okay, and in that case you will say println A plus. Okay, and now you can do this similar for the other one. So this is for 90 plus, then 80 plus, 70 plus, 60 plus, 50 plus, and then you have an else for this as well. You can use that as well. And now this is going to be 80, that is 70, that is 60, and that is 50. And this will be similar to what? B, C, and D. And for the rest, you can say that this is going to be println F. Okay. And now you run this. So basically, if you run the same thing, it will be just similar to what it was. Now, let's say if I use 45, this means that the person has failed, and you will see that there it will print F. The only thing is like the difference that we got for this in this way is that it's much more cleaner than what we had previously, right? And one more thing with Kotlin, that is basically more about variable and assignment of variable, and that is basically you can like assign the result rather than doing all the println and all that. So for that, let's say when I say one result is equals to when, and rather than printing the stuff, what we'll do is that we'll just get rid of this like this, right? Now what it will do is that it will basically assign this value into this result variable. And once you have like the result, when basically the if or the when operators basically do all the stuff, you can just do println and print the result rather than this. And now if I run this, you will see that it will do the same thing, same result will be printed, but this time the thing is that it will be much more cleaner in this way. So this is basically how when works. The when has some other cases as well, but before like going into when, there's one more thing, and that is basically nested conditions. So for example, if you have a condition, if obtained marks greater than 0, greater than 50, which means the user has like uh, passed, and rest case you will just print the fail like before. But inside that, let's say we have if basically the obtained marks are greater than uh, 90, you can print A plus, or let's say call it passed with A plus. And else if you can say if obtained marks greater than 80 or greater than equals to 80, let's say greater than equals to 80, then you can say passed with A. And you can do like for the rest of as well, but just for the rest case I'm just saying passed. The only reason that I want to do is that basically you have this nested condition now. Like in this case, you have the top condition, and if that is satisfied, the rest of the condition are being checked, and this is basically called nested conditions or nested if. And you can do the same for when as well, but this is just like to show you what exactly this is. Okay, sorry, I need to do println for that, like this, in order to run this. And now once I do that and run it, this time you will see that it will run as expected, right? Let me just pass 90 to see if the internal condition are basically ran and it's satisfied. Okay, let me just do 91. Okay, now you will see that it's basically execute this part. So this is basically how the conditions work when it's nested. Now we'll go back to when, and this time what I'm going to do, I'm going to say when. Now the previously what we did is that we did a when, and then we like straight away added the condition. But the good thing about when is that it can work based on the like on a value as well. So like we can pass a normal value, for example, wall uh, int, or sorry, wall values, wall item is equals to 4. Let's say we add 4 into this. Okay, and then I'm going to add item into this. And now let's say if we say that if it's 4, if it's 1, you do something, for 2 you do something, for 3 you can ask this to do something, and for 4 do something as well. Now you can say println, and you will print, let's say, um, what should we say? Let's say for this case you can say this. In case of 3, let's ask the system to print something as um, CMP Kotlin Multiplatform. Then we will be printing uh, coding is perfect. You can just, like, I'm just adding a couple of things into this. Now this is going to be no code, no bugs. Okay, so we have these kind of things, and now you can see the item is just like the value for item is 4, and we have this. And now when I run this, you will see that it will reprint this section like this. And if I change it to 2, it will print something like this, right? And since we don't have an else, if I pass something unexpected, it will fail. Like, it will say that we don't have anything, and you can see that it crashed. So for that, what you need to do is that you need to pass an else operation to this, and you can say println invalid number. Okay, now when I run this, you will see that for 5 it will print that result for me, which I was expecting. Right, you can see that. Now it's not just this. Like, let's say in case of 1 2 I want to print something, and in case of 3 4 I want to print something. So for that, what you can do is that, let me just get rid of that, and rather than doing this, you can say that if it's either 1 or 2, you can say no code. If it's either 3 or 4, in that case you can print code with fk. In case of other than that, you can print 4. So let's say if I pass 3 into this and run this, you will see that it will just like combinedly say that, okay, for 3 you need to print 3, and sorry, code with fk, and for 4 it will also run the same section. But let's say if I change it to 1, so in that case it will do the first one. So the thing is that, like, if there are certain cases where two different values are supposed to work in a same way, in that case you can merge the values into one, and the code chunk should be placed at once, so that you don't have to write duplicate code. And other than that, there is one more thing that you can do. And for that, let's say again, I'm going to say wall result, and that for result I'm going to say 90, like item is going to be 90. Now previously, if you remember, what we did is that we didn't added the value. Instead, we directly added like the ranges of using the direct value. Now in this case, what we'll do is that we'll use the value based item, and then inside that we'll add condition. So for example, if we say in, and we say if it's between, like, the value is either between 90 to 100, in that case what we'll do, we will say the value is a plus, then we'll say in 80 to 89, in that case we'll say a. If it's between 70 to 79, 70 79, in that case it's going to be b. And else, what we're gonna do is that I'm gonna say f. For example, let's do something like this. Now in this case, what we did is that we added the ranges for this. So let's say different ranges were basically part of this, and then now we run it, and you will see that it will show me an a plus. What does it says? Variable is unused. Okay, sorry, we need to print ln the result. Now let's just try to run this, and you will see that it will print the value a plus for me. And this is how basically you can define the ranges for this as well in the main, in the with the when. One more thing I think there is left, and for that I'll need to have a message print, like a different function. And let's just say, and that is function print type, and you say value, or let's say a as any. Okay, and what it will do is that it will just print the type of it. Now in this case, you don't know what an AN is, and what we need to do is that we need to print based on the type of the variable that will pass. So we'll say when a, and in this case we'll say if is it's an integer, we will print integer, right? In case if it's a string, we'll print, oh my god, it will be println, and that is going to be uh, string, right? And else we'll say is that println not supported. Let's say we have something like this. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to type print type, and in this case I'll pass 3, and then one more thing that I'm going to do, in that case I'll be passing a string name Furkan. Okay, now what I did is that basically I added these two things, these two different values. One is 3, which is an integer, and then this is basically Furkan. Now let me run and see for the first time. So I should see integer and then a string like this. Now let me just change the type into long. So when I pass long, you will see that it will not support it instead, and it will fail that. Okay, it will say that it's not supported. So basically you can also do this kind of things. Previously, like in other languages, the problem with when or the switch statement used to be bound to the type of the variable that we would pass, but in this way, in this case specifically, you can have these kind of things. And this is basically this specific approach is basically used with sealed classes, or like the custom classes that will make. So in that kind of situation, we will be using these kind of when statements. So that's why basically I wanted to cover this over here as well. So yeah, I think that was it for this video, for conditions. And let me know if you have any confusion, if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video, in which we will cover loops. So thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon so you don't forget any update. If you got any question, you can join my Discord server. The link is in the description. Also, for quick updates and tips, you can follow me on Instagram. Until next time, keep learning, keep developing. Bye.